Stepped on a box top, blew out my flip-flop, cut my heel, had to cruise on back home.
This is very creative.
Yep.
I've never seen a hollow like that.
Neither have I. But there's booze in the blender.
Okay, so that's a new thing. That wasn't done before.
And soon it will render a frozen concoction that helps me hang on.
Bow, 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 bow.
Wasting away
again in Margaritaville. Bow, 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 bow. Searching for my lost shaker of salt. Salt, salt, salt.
Some people claim I know, hell, it could be my fault. Some people claim. So what's so funny is it's a very fine line between a Jedi robe and a monk.
And a monk, yes. I understand.
Havana, rush, rush. spent like 3 hours playing the guitar together, and my fingers were just like sore. We're doing it. I forgot. We're doing 2 or 3.
I thought we did 3.
3. All right, everybody. Come on in, have seats. Come on in. It's another Blues Clues day today. Blues Clues. I think we're pretty much all here now. All right, let's get that side. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you, and happy Purim. So you probably noticed that you were handed this big packet when you came in. This is the service. We're not using a prayer book. In fact, let me just tell you a few things while I have a chance. This is Purim. And when Purim comes in, joy increases. When Adar comes in, joy increases. And that's how we feel. This holiday of Purim, why do we wear costumes? Why are we not just invited to and encouraged, but commanded to have alcohol, except if you're a child? And the reason why is because Purim reminds us that we live in a surreal world. We live in a crazy world which is upside down. And what seems to be normal is not normal. And the not normal seems to be normalized. And how do you handle it? You just, one day a year, Jewish tradition says, just let go and just try your best to put it out of your mind. Just be a little silly, get dressed up. Like I said, it says ad lo yada in the Talmud, which means, it's an abbreviation of the expression that you should keep drinking until you can't tell the difference between blessed be Mordechai and cursed be Haman. And that, no, it's true. And so that's the costumes, that's why the silliness, that's the fun. And this Shabbat service is not going to be the typical Shabbat service. Let me explain to you what you can expect. Entirely irreverent, sacrilegious stuff. Things which are, and this is actually relatively tame for me. I have been known to do some very, very irreverent things here. I'm trying to set a good impression for our cantor and not make him realize just how irreverent that things can be. So there'll be some funny things for sure, but they will also be kind of prayers that you know, sung to the melody of some different things. Cantor Isman had a number of things that he's like, let's do this, let's sing that, let's do this. And you'll find that that the ones that he picked, they're actually thematic. I'm not going to tell you exactly, maybe I will when we get there, but when we get to, well, you'll see. But it wasn't random. The songs were actually picked for thematic purposes. And again, it's all for us just to have a good time. So our hope is that you let loose a little bit. If you brought a mixed drink into the sanctuary with you, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to throw that away. We don't allow drinks and food in the sanctuary. But, but other than that, we hope that you have a nice time. At some point during the middle or towards the end, we're going to do a little bit of Megillah reading also. And so we'll have an opportunity to take out the groggers. But let's start. Again, I don't think that these pages are numbered, but it's okay, because we're on the first page as we begin with Chag Purim. Chag Purim, Chag Gadol V'Yehudim, Masechot, Rashanim, Zerot Rikudim, Havana Risha, Havana Risha, Havana Risha, Maharashani, Chag Purim, Chag Purim, Chag Gadol V'Yehudim, Masechot, Rashanim, Zerot Rikudim, Havana Risha, Havana Risha, Havana Risha, Maharashani. So we're going to light the Shabbat candles, but we are not going to do the Shabbat candles with the blessing that we might typically do. Rather, we're going to let Jim Morrison be the one who, we'll light them, and we'll let Jim Morrison be the one who does the blessing for us.
There's a general theme to the music this evening, which is rock from the 60s and 70s. So if you're of a certain age, that's wonderful.
And if you don't even know when the 60s and 70s were, then, yeah, you get the point. You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I were to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love become a futile pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. Oh my God.
Did we just enter Jurassic Park?
There's a dinosaur knocking at my door, knocking 1, 2, 3. There's a dinosaur knocking at my door, and she wants to have Shabbat with me. All right. We can go extemporaneous here if we need to. Dear Lord. All right, so we continue now with our version of the Kiddush, written by Jerry Block. I think you know a lot of the stuff that comes from this. We're in fifth. Love this, the 5th fret. Join, by the way, having a hard time sitting down there? It's like, can you please remove your hat? I cannot see. But please, by the way, all songs are intended for you to sing along with, except if you're a kid, because you have no idea what this music is. So this one comes from a play or a musical and a movie that came a long, long, long time ago. And it's called Fiddler on the Roof. There was a person playing the violin on a rooftop. And this is the song that they sang, one of the songs that they sang. To life, l'chaim, 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 to life. Life has a way of confusing us, blessing and bruising us. Drink l'chaim, to life, to life, to life, l'chaim, 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 to life. Life has a way of confusing us, blessing and bruising us. Drink l'chaim to life. Ya la ya la 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 ya 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 la 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 la. To life, l'chaim. L'chaim, l'chaim, to life. Life has a way of confusing us, blessing and bruising us. Drink l'chaim to life. L'chaim. All right, where were we on this? We did the Kiddush, yeah? Oh yeah, so now it's time for the Baruch Hu. But let me tell you something. I do not need you to stand up for this. So do not rise for the Baruch Hu. But you know that the call to worship is part of our, is how we begin, you know, that's, all faiths have a call to worship. Judaism does too, it's this. But we're not gonna sing the actual call to worship Baruch Hu. We're gonna do our own little version that was written by Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Here come old flat top, he's got grooving up slowly. He got juju eyeball, he's a holy roller. He's got hair down to his knees. Got to be a joker, he just do what he please. Come together right now over me. He wear no shoe shine, he got toe jam football, he got monkey finger, he shoot Coca-Cola, he say, I know you know me. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now over me. What's that? It rhymes? Yes, it's supposed to rhyme. By the way, that song, if you did pay attention to the words, the lyrics, you were like, what on earth were they doing there? Like, really, what on earth were they doing there? All right, so this one, yeah, actually, we have an English reading. What do you know? Let's read together. So, join me. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom has given us the ability to oversee Hollywood. Your breath contains the plans for our space lasers. Creator of the tide of time and light, you have given us the tools to control the weather. Just as heaven spans to infinity, you gave us the power to own an infinite number of banks. Praise to you, Adonai our God, for making us a beloved people in the world. Shema, by the way, you do not need to rise if you don't want to. Join us for Shema with this tune, Led Zeppelin. No wonder it doesn't sound right. All right. Oh, I forgot that I even had some of these things up here. It's like, oh, right. All right, so let's see here. We continue with Mi Chamocha, which is, this is written by, I think, Pete Townsend, sung by Roger Daltrey, but written by Pete Townsend. I'm pretty sure he wrote all the songs for The Who. Mi Chamocha. Please, if you know a little The Who, join. If you've never heard of The Who, you're probably thinking, who are they, right? Who are they? Who? You know? All right, let's do it. Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha. Tell me who is like you. I couldn't help it. That wasn't part of it, but I had to. We're not there yet. We're not at the groggers yet. All right. So, oh, an English reading. Whew, thank God. Just get some reverence, you know? Get some normalcy. Later, soon. Join me. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and in all other times in our lives. You are the still, clear voice within us, or possibly I am just hearing voices. I can't be certain. Therefore, when we feel a rush of excitement, it could be you, O God, or it could be the combination of my high blood pressure and unmedicated anxiety. When we feel the need to rush out from doing our daily activities, It could be in praise of you, O God, or it could be our IBS. When we try to become in touch with our innermost soul, the fastest way to get there is through our inguinal hernia, which needs to be addressed at some point soon. We praise you, Adonai our God, for sharing our bodies with some other medical occupants. Hashkivenu, by the way, is a prayer which talks about, as I've said before, on Shabbat, not this. It talks about letting us go to sleep calmly and nicely and waking us up the next morning, rejuvenated and refreshed. And when you think about sleep, I'm sure you know what you're thinking about. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the quiet village, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Oof. All right, another responsive reading. Not responsive, just together reading, excuse me. So here we are, bottom of whatever page this is. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our mouths to food. May all who struggle to eat good sushi find Joss on this day. May all who suffer looking for a good steak find Lunas. May all who hurt for Israeli food find Tate on this day. May all who despair for corned beef go to Baltimore. May all who hunger find Whole Foods on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Yes. Oof. All right, let's see. So, what's going on here? Oh, no wonder. So, typically we would, Typically we would do Misha Berach, and we would do a little Kihila Kedoshah here. But I'm afraid that if we do it, then I don't want to, how do I put it? I don't want to lessen and reduce and minimize people who are struggling and in pain. And so I am aware that there are loved ones who are needy for healing, but we are not going to go around the room and talk about them. And not because they're not important to us, but just because I don't want to lessen their pain with our joy. So instead, we're just going to sing a little song having to do with healing, kinda. It's written by, I think, Barry Gibb. Or is it Andy Gibb?
I think Barry wrote
I think Barry wrote this one too. You guys know who the Bee Gees are? No? You guys know who the JQs are? No? How about any combination of letters? You know any of those? No? Well, you can, this is an important song, by the way, because the reason why is because this is the song that you sing when you are doing CPR.
Right.
So it's important. So that's why this is the healing song, because we do it during CPR. Anyway, please join us with the Bee Gees.
Well,
You can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music's loud and the women warm, I've been kicked around since I was born. Now it's alright, it's okay, you may look the other way. We can try to understand the New York Times effect on man. Whether you're a brother, whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Steel City breaking and everybody shaking them who's staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. Now do you understand why that's our healing song? Because it's staying alive. Okay, forget it. All right, so one more. I was struggled to learn this one, so I'm going to let the cantor take it. This is Oseh Shalom, written by Bob Seger.
So I selected the melody for this to the tune of the song "Turn the Page," and I did that because I read an interview years ago that Bob Seger gave where he said "Turn the Page" is the song that he wrote specifically about those Zen moments of quiet and peace in between performances, in between concerts that he would give. He was looking for a way to describe that peaceful feeling he got when he was in between concerts. So I thought, well, that's Oseh Shalom. That fits that theme, right? So sing along with me. It works really well. Oseh Shalom, Shalom Bimroma, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'yako Yisrael, V'yako Yoshvei Tevel, Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom Bimroma, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'yako Yisrael, V'yako Yoshvei Tevel, Amen. May the one who makes peace up on high, may the one who makes peace bring us peace for all who dwell on earth. Bring us peace, bring us peace, bring us peace, and let us say Amen.
All right, that was awesome. Let's continue with a little Megillah. So when I say a little Megillah, we're not reading the whole Megillah, but we're going to read some of the Megillah. So in order to do it, we need some props. And when I say props, I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about groggers. So would anyone be interested in helping me pass out groggers? Thank you. Yes. Why don't you all come around and just get a handful of groggers and give them to people. Yeah, take a lot of them and give them to people so everyone can have some. Good job. Pass them out. That's right. All right, pass them out. Pass them groggers out. Pass them groggers out. That's right. What? Sure, take the whole thing out. All right, get it out. Get it out of your system now. Get it out of your system now. That's right. All right, so all right. Before we start, I would like to say a few things. So, number one is, if you can please do your best to not spin it right now, because every time even when you spin a little, it makes a big sound. Yep, see, I can still hear it. Okay. So number one is you have to take it, you have to be good about not spinning it. Just as much as spinning it is important, not spinning it is also important. Now, that's rule number one. Now, a couple other things I want to tell you. That before we go there, before we continue with the Megillah, I do want to say that there are a number of people here who are here both for Purim and also because we are acknowledging the people who helped with winter relief this year. We worked closely with Kol Shalom and Congregation Kol Shalom, and also I think Knesset Israel as well. And so if you are here for one of the reasons you are here is because we are honoring you for helping with winter relief. I'd just like to ask you to rise, and so we can just thank you for your work with helping the homeless here in our community. Wow, I knew there would be a lot of people. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here with us over winter. That's right. And please know that even in a surreal world that we live in, there can still be some truths, some realities, and that is helping others, kindness to others. That is what we expect. That's the normal. And that the way the world kind of functions sometimes is what's not normal. Now, I also want to say before we continue, just a word of thanks. Do you know that Vered Mullen, she baked and cooked so much of the food that was out at the pre-neg and also that will be out at the oneg Shabbat. We don't always do a pre-neg, by the way. We just do it from time to time. This was a good opportunity to do it. And so thank you to Vered. Thank you also to Heidi and Rob Schnapp for serving as our servers, our bartenders. If you were impressed by how smooth that mojito came to Heidi, it's because she has a lot of practice drinking mojitos. So thanks you to the two of you. And yeah, so let's continue with the Megillah. What we're going to do is, I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm just going to read part of it, but and I'll translate the part that I read. But I'll do my best to tell the story, also to fill in the blanks as it's happening. So, long time ago, in a town called, anybody know? Shushan. Very good. Shushan, there was a king named Achashverosh, and he liked one thing more than just about anything, and that was he liked to party. Is anybody having a birthday party coming up soon? That's right. Anybody having a party at all anytime soon? Well, guess what? Good. Guess what? This guy, Achashverosh, he didn't need a reason to have a party. The sun was out. Let's have a party. And that's what he liked to do. And his parties were famous. Famous from across the entire region. So allow me to read a little bit of the of Megillah now. It goes, excuse me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hamegillah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avotenu v'imotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Amen. And Shechianu, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Bayom hashvi'i kitov lev hamelech bayayin amar leman bizta harbona bigta v'avanta zeter v'charkas shiv'at Hasrisim ha-misaritim et pnei hamelech Achashverosh. So that meant on the seventh day when his heart was really happy from all of the wine that he had drank, he said to his 7 eunuchs, I won't read their names again, he said, who were all before King Achashverosh, Lahavi et Vashti, Hamalka lifnei hamelech becheter malchut loharot ha'amim v'hasarim et yafya ki tovat mar'ehi. And that's that Achashverosh said to those eunuchs, go bring Queen Vashti and tell her to come wearing her crown and to come before all of the people and all of the ministers because she is beautiful, really good looking. Ve tima'en hamalka Vashti lavo b'devar hamelech asher b'yad hasarisim vayiktsov hamelech ma'od v'chamato ba'ara vo. So Vashti refused to come before all of those people, and as the king had demanded, and King Achashverosh was furious, and you could see the anger boiling up in him. Well, what do you know? I'll give you like what happened. So, king was very mad, and the king sent Vashti out of the palace, and then they started wondering what was going to happen. Would all women start talking to their husbands like that? Obviously, that's what they were thinking. And they realized that they had to set a very important message, and that's why they got rid of Vashti. But here's the thing. The king didn't have a queen anymore. And so he needed to find a new queen. And he sent out a message to all of the land of Shushan. And by the way, Shushan, do you know where that's located right now? Yep, Iran. By the way, we have a long history in Iran. And just as an by the way, just in case you're wondering, if there happens to be changes in Iran, in its leadership, I feel very strongly that Iran and Israel would become friends very quickly. Not joking. Anyway, so there was a contest. A message was sent out to all the land of Shushan, and that message said, if you would like to have a chance to be the new queen, come on down and we'll give anybody a shot. Well, now is the next Hebrew. Ish Yehudi haya b'Shushan habira u'shemo Mordechai ben Yair ben Shili ben Kish ish Yemini. So there was a Jewish man in Shushan which was the capital city, and his name was Mordecai. Very good. And he was son of Yair, was son of Shimei, was son of Kish, and he was a Benjaminite. Asher higala miYerushalayim im hagola, asher higalta im Yechoniah melech Yehuda, asher higala Nebuchadnezzar melech Bavel. He was, I can't believe I can't think of this English word. He exiled. Thank you, God. Thank you for your help. He was exiled from Jerusalem with the king Yechoniah, who was the king of Judah at the time, because of what Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, did. So, Vayhi omen et Hadassah hi Esther bat dodo ki ein la avem v'hana'ara yafat toar v'tova mar'eh uvemot aviha v'ima lakacha Mordechai lo levat. So, it came to be that Hadassah, who was also known as Esther, queen, but not queen yet, she would be the foster child of Mordecai. And the reason why? Because, and he was her cousin, because she didn't have a mother or a father because they had died. And she was also very beautiful to look at. And when her parents died, Mordecai adopted her as his own daughter. All right. So this is where the story gets a little kind of crazy. So let me give you the highlights. Esther becomes queen, and Mordecai, who is, remember, he is her adopted father, even though he's her cousin, he hangs out at the palace all the time because he wants to check on her to make sure she's okay. And so one day, while he was at the palace gate checking on her to making sure she was okay, he overheard two guards of the palace. And you know what they were talking about? They were discussing how they were going to assassinate the king. And Mordecai heard it. And you know what Mordecai did? He told the authorities. And those two guards, well, they were not able to follow through on their plans. And guess what else happened? You see, when the king found out about it, he wrote it down in his journal. There weren't that many books back then. Pretty much the only book was like the king's journal, and he wrote it down in that journal. So that was a very important moment. But here comes another important moment. Because back to the Hebrew, Achar ha'devarim ha'eleh, after these things, Gadel hamelech Achashverosh, the king Achashverosh appointed or promoted et Haman, that's right. I should have told you that you can do a grogger on the name Haman or Haman. Well, he was Ben Amadatah, the son of Madatah, Ha'agagi, the Agagite, Vanisiehu, Vasem et Kiso, Ma'al Kol Asharim Asher Ito. And the king raised him up higher than any of the other ministers. V'chol Avdei HaMelech Asher B'Sha'ar HaMelech, Korim U'Mishtachavim LeHaman. That's right. And all of the servants or the workers of the king who were at the gate of the king, they would bow down to Haman. Tichen tziva lo hamelech, because that's what the king ordered. Umordechai lo yichareh V'lo yishtachavet, but Mordechai would not bow down. Vayomer avdei hamelech, asher b'sha'ar hamelech leMordechai. So then all of the people at the gate said to Mordechai, Madua ata over et mitzvat hamelech? Why are you not doing the law of the king? Vayhi amram elav yom b'yom velo shama alehem. And it happened every single day. They would ask him this question, and Mordechai never listened to them. Vayagidu leHaman. And so those people at the gate said to Haman, Lirot hayamidu divrei Mordechai. We'll see, by the way, if what Mordechai said is actually true. Ki higid lahem, because Mordechai said to them that Asher hu Yehudi, that he was a Jew. Vayar Haman. Ki ein Mordechai koreh umishtachavelo v'yimaleh Haman hema. So that evil, dastardly guy, got very angry with Mordechai for not bowing down, and he was just filled with hate and anger. So, let me give you a little bit of, I'll just catch you up before our next part. So, that guy, whose name begins with the letter H, not going to say it, he was furious with Mordechai for not bowing down. And so what did he do? He went to the king, to King Achashverosh, and he said, "Oh, king." And the king said, "Yes." And he said, there are certain people in this land who are not like the normal people. They do their own thing. They have their own special ways. They do things like Shabbat on Friday night and Saturday as opposed to other days. And by the way, he wasn't wrong. We are different. We do things our own way. But in any event, he said, I think you should get rid of these people and kick them out of Shushan for good. Well, the king said, sure. Pretty much just that. But you know what? The king didn't know one thing. Do you know what the king didn't know? What do you think the king didn't know? That Esther was a Jew, just like you said. Yep. So word got around all of Shushan that about this edict of the king. And Mordechai yada et kol asher naaseh. Mordechai heard about all of the things that had happened. Vayikra Mordechai et bigadav. So vayikra means he tore his clothes. Do you know why he tore his clothes? Kind of. No, he tore his clothes because when Jews hear about death, we tear our clothing. And even though we hadn't had death yet, still, Mordechai was preparing for it. So, it says, Vayilbash sak ve'afar, and so he put on ashes and sackcloth, Vayetze betoch ha'ir, and he ran out in the middle of the city. Remember, he's dressed in like a potato sack and ashes. Vayitzak za'aka gedola umara. And he was screaming and wailing a terrible scream because he was so upset. Vayavo ad lifnei sha'ar hamelech. And he got up as far as the gates to the palace. Ki ein lavo el hasha'ar hamelech bilvosh sak. But he wasn't able to go all the way into through the gates, and that is because you're not allowed to go in the gates if you're dressed like that. Well, let me tell you what happens, because it gets really good. So then Mordecai is screaming and crying and wailing, and Esther is embarrassed. She is like, why is he screaming like that outside the palace? And she agrees to see Mordecai. And you know what Mordecai says? He tells her everything that's going on because she didn't know. And he says, you have got to help. You got to do something about this. You're the queen. Who else has a better chance of fixing this problem? And he says, if you don't do it, then our help will have to come from somewhere else, even though I don't know where that is. Well, the story goes that Esther decided that maybe the best way to fix this was to do what King Ahasuerus loved the best. And who remembers what he loved to do more than anything? Party! Woohoo! Party! Well, Esther said, I'm throwing a party for you, Ahasuerus. And when she had that party, by the way, you know who else she invited to that party? Haman. That's right. And King said, we don't need a reason for a party, but just cause, I'm just going to ask you, what's up? Why are we having this party? And Esther said, well, I just wanted to have a party. I thought you'd like it. And the king said, come on, up to half the kingdom. I'm happy to give it to you. And Esther said, no, all I want is, will you just come to another party that I have? He said, sure, I love parties. Well, so that first party ended. And that night, the king couldn't sleep. Has anyone here ever had a hard time falling asleep before? Many times. That's right. 2 zillion times. 800 million times. That's right. More than infinity times. For me, it's like 1. Every day. Anyway, so King couldn't sleep. And so what do you do if you can't fall asleep? Get a drink of water. What do you do? Well, that's not what you do, but okay. So what do you do if you can't fall asleep?
I either get water or read some books, but they're usually really big books like Dogman books.
Right. So you got it there. Read a book. Well, that's what King Ahasuerus did. But he didn't read a book. He had someone read it to him. And remember, there weren't that many books. Like there wasn't Dogman back then. That's new. You know what book they had back then? His diary. So they basically, and that was pretty boring. He thought that'd be great, I'll fall asleep through that. And so they were reading his diary, and you know what part they read? They read the part about how Mordecai, you don't grog on Mordecai, Mordecai had saved the king's life. And so the next morning, in walks Haman, and Ahasuerus says to him, he says, what should we do to thank a person who has done so many important and great things? And Haman thought the king was talking about him. And so he says to the king, I got an idea. Why don't you get your best horses out and have the person you want to honor put on the horse, walk through the town, and say, this is how the king honors the people that he wants to thank. And so King Ahasuerus says, great idea, do that for Mordecai. And Haman went. And Haman was like, what? I thought he was talking about me, but he had to do it. So he led Mordecai around the town on the horse, and he was not happy about it. But let me tell you what happened. That same night was the second party. Party number 2. And this is what happened. Vayavo Amelech ve Haman King came with Haman. Lishtot im Esther Amaka, to party with the Queen Esther. Vayomer Amelech leEsther, King said to Esther, Gam bayom hasheni, now also at this second party. B'mishteh yayin, ma sha'altich, what is it that you request? Esther Hamalka, my beautiful Queen Esther, ve tinaten lach, and I'll give it to you. Tell me what you want. You got it. Uma bakashtech. And what are you asking for? Ad chatzi hamalchut v'ta'as. I would give you up to half my kingdom. V'ta'an Esther hamalka. And that's when Esther replied, Vatomar im matzati chen be'enecha. If I have found favor in your eyes, Hamelech, O king, ve'im al Hamelech tov, and if it's good for you, tinaten li nafshi b'sha'alti. Give me my life. That's my request. Va'ami bivakashti. And my people, that's my request. She wanted to have her and her people saved. Ki nim kiranu ani v'ami lashmid la'rog v'la'abed. Because I have been sold, and my people have been sold to be destroyed, to be killed, and to be just destroyed, utterly destroyed. V'ilu la'avadim v'lishfachot nimkarenu, and if only we were just sold as slaves or workers, hecharashti, I would have been silent. Ki ein chatzer shaveh benezek hamelech, because it wouldn't have been worth your time. But vayomer hamelech Achashverosh, vayomer leEsther. And so the king Achashverosh spoke up and said to Esther, Hamalka, the queen, Mi hu zeh. Who is this person that would want to do such a thing? Ve'ezehu. Who are we talking about? Asher mal'o libo la'asot ken. Whose heart is so filled with hate that he would want to do such a thing. Vatomer Esther, and Esther said, Ish tsar vo'oyev, that man who was our enemy and who is our opposition, and his name is Haman Hara. The evil Haman. Ve'haman niv'at milfanei hamelech v'hamaka, and Haman cringed and fell down before the king and the queen. So let me tell you the rest of the story. What happens? Haman's kicked out of town. He never showed up again. And more important, that all the people of the land of Shushan learned that it wasn't okay for us to do anything bad to the Jews of Shushan. And we were able to live in Shushan, which is in Babylonia, or now Iran, happily and safely. And that is the story of Purim. Now, what I would like for you to do is put your groggers to the side, because we're not going to use it anymore. Instead, we have just two more things to do for Purim. The first is we're going to do motzi. And when we do motzi, I want you to see, by the way, we put it down below, and the reason why we put it down below is because it was too big to fit on the bima. But this is our challah for tonight. Not only is it the biggest challah, what does it look like? Which is a hamantashen. This is a hamantashen challah, and so made by Vered Mullen over there. Woohoo! So we're going to do the motzi, and then we'll do one last song. So, who wants to sing motzi? In fact, if you're a kid, if you are a kid, and when I say a kid, I'm not talking about at heart, I'm talking about like legit kid. Come on up and help me up here with the motzi. Yes. Yep. Right here.
Oh, they're a little cute. Hamantashen is. Excuse me? There's a little rabbi.
Your posture is a little off there. Okay, ready? Let's sing the motzi together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. You can have some challah, and you can have some challah, and it's going to be really tasty because I've had this challah before, and I know the person who baked it, and she's really good at baking challahs. And when I say bacon challahs, I do not mean challahs that taste like bacon. I am talking about. Okay, you can go back to your seats. All right, one last song. This is from my hometown. This guy was a legend where I'm from. Jimmy Buffett. It's to the tune of Margaritaville. Adon Olam to the tune of Margaritaville. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem po yetzer nivra, Lev nasa, Azai melech shemo nikra, Adon Olam asher malach, B'terem po yetzer nivra, Le'nasa אחרי יכלות הכל לבדו ימלוך תורה והוא היה והוא עובד והוא יהיה בתפארה Asher Malach, one more thing before we say Happy Purim and Shabbat Shalom. That is, I know there are some people here who would like to say Kaddish. If that is you, stay in the sanctuary, and we'll say Kaddish in just a few minutes. Otherwise, there is an Oneg Shabbat, which has sweeter things than the pre-neg did. Of that I am certain. And by the way, if you're concerned whether or not we're going to have a minyan for to do Kaddish, I saw two minions. They were our ushers this evening. Carly Knott and Dana Feldman were both a minion. So we have a minion here. Have no fear. We're fine for the Kaddish. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Happy Purim. Enjoy the Oneg Shabbat outside. And if you'd like to do Kaddish, feel free to stay here in the sanctuary. Thank you so much for being here with us. And good job to Cantor Isman for arranging so many of the songs. Bring your groggers back into the box up here.
So a minion counts as a minion?
I'm pretty sure it does. Some people play the devil.